Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. In this episode, we're going to take a look at a couple of things. First, we're going to take a look at another bankruptcy concern. Another miner has been added. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit. You guys will find out later on who that is. That's got a growing concern for bankruptcy. We'll also take a look at Sphere 3D. They finally have added some miners, so they're no longer 100 petahash. They're up a little bit higher. So that's a good news there. We'll take a look at that. And then we'll also look at the markets, which were kind of mixed today. Bitcoin was actually up, Ethereum was up, miners were mixed as well. And we only have 3 miners here that reached new 52-week lows today. That was Bit Digital, Soluna, and TeraWolf. And we'll look at all of that here before we get into the main stories. So as always, you guys know this, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research, please. And I am investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure, so everyone is aware. Okay, let's take a look at the markets here. And we have the S&P was down, actually up 0.1%. Today to 3,821. Dow Jones was up 0.28% to 32,849. NASDAQ was down 0.11% to 11,072. Excuse me. And then Bitcoin was up today approximately 2.79%. So it was a pretty good day for Bitcoin. It closed at 16,897. We had a high of 17,060 and a low of 16,398. So a pretty good swing on the day for it. Now looking at the forward chart, we're seeing that the RSI is at 49. Last time I was here, was right there. Price was higher at that point where we are right now. On the 4-hour chart, we're still looking a little bit bearish. On the 1-hour chart, however, we are seeing more of possibly a reversal happening. So if we look at the RSI here, it's at 53 right now. Last time we were back here, which was right around here, I would say, price has been going up while the RSI has been coming down a little bit. So we may be seeing a little bit of a reversal here on Bitcoin on the 1-hour chart, which would potentially lead to maybe a little bit of a rally, but we'll see if that happens. Right now, 1 hour's bullish, 4 hours bearish. We'll see what happens on it. Ethereum was also up today. It was up, let's take a look here, it was up 4.2%, so it did a lot better than Bitcoin did. It closed at 1,216, had a low of 1,163, and a high of 1,231. RSI is looking kind of the same here. We're seeing that kind of little arc here happening. Last time we were back here was over here roughly. Price at that point was much higher in the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 1-hour chart, we're seeing the same thing happening here where the RSI is coming down while price is going up. So that's a little bit of a good sign there. We'll see if that continues or not. And let's take a look at the miners here really quick. So ANY was down 10.41%. Surprisingly, they also provided their hash rate has grown, but they were down today. And nonetheless, I think maybe people were expecting more of a hash rate increase than what they got. But they were down 10.41% to 30 cents. Argo was up 4.95% to 3 cents and change. BitDigital was up 2.2% to 56 cents. Bitfarms was down 2.15% to 45 cents. CleanSpark was up 7.3% to $1.91. Cores was up 3.07% to 20 cents and change. DigiHost was down 8.1% to 43 cents. DMG was down 0.04% to 13 cents. GreenIDGE was way down 17.97%. That's based on, well, I'll give it away now. So the company that's got a growing concern is GreenIDGE for bankruptcy, and that is why it was down today 17.97%. So we'll take a look at that story there. Hive was up today 0.57% to $1.77. Hut 8 was up 0.29% to 87 cents and a quarter. Iris Energy was up 5.26% to $1.40. Luxfolio was down 20% to less than a penny. Marathon was up 1.03% to $3.91. MAWSON was up 3.57% to 29 cents. Riot was up 0.26% to $3.83. Soluna was down 2.48% to 31 cents. Stronghold was down 4.33% to 44 cents. And Wolf was up 0.96% to 58 cents. So, like I said, it was a mixed bag in the markets today for the miners. Surprisingly, Bitcoin is up, but the miners weren't up. I could see why some of them were down, but the other ones I would have thought would have gone up with Bitcoin going up. But we have what we have. So let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick. See if we get this updated. It has, looks like, fallen a little bit more to 243. I think that's the same we had yesterday. I don't know if it got updated yet or not. It has come up a little bit here in the last couple of days to 246. So we're bouncing off this kind of low here. So could that be our new higher low that we've had? Looked like these were going to be it up here, but they haven't really materialized going forward. So maybe this is going to be our new low. We'll see if that sticks or not. Okay. Next, let's take a look at the stories that we do have, and we'll call it a day. This is going to be a little bit lengthy here. GREENIDGE Generation executes term sheet with secured lender NYDIG regarding debt renegotiations, provides liquidity update. There's a lot to cover in here. Some things I don't understand. Maybe you guys do understand it. So let's get into it here. So lender negotiations update. Entered into a non-binding term sheet with NYDIG regarding approximately $74 million of debt, contemplating the following terms. So any change in the terms reflected in this non-binding term sheet could have a material adverse effect on GREENIDGE and its stockholders and could further impact its liquidity and its ability to continue as a going concern. For additional information related to the NYDIG negotiations and GREENIDGE's liquidity updates, certain additional risk factors are included here and that should be read in addition to those already provided in GREENIDGE's public filings. So liquidity update. There remains uncertainty regarding GREENIDGE's financial condition and substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a growing concern. The company's average monthly hash burn rate during October-November 2022 was approximately 8 million, of which approximately 5.5 million per month was associated with principal and interest payments to NYDIG. Further, the company expects to have a similar cash burn and similar payments to NYDIG during December. So that is not good. They were averaging approximately 6 million in revenue. They are burning through 8 million a month. So they're definitely burning through cash on that. But we'll take a look at the balance sheets that they have and what they were actually mining here in the last couple of months in a little bit. There is a substantial likelihood that GREENIDGE's independent auditor opinion will reflect a going concern qualification in their audit report for the 2022 financial statement. And then GREENIDGE's board of directors has engaged in active discussions about the potential for and timing of a voluntary bankruptcy filing in the event that, number one, GREENIDGE determines that potential sources of liquidity will not be available to it. Number two, GREENIDGE's remaining available capital does not allow it to meet its obligations as they become due. Or number three, GREENIDGE defaults on any of its material contracts or indebtedness. So it's not looking good for them right now. See, the company continues to actively explore raising additional equity capital and to engage in discussions with its lenders. So there's a lot going on here behind the scenes, but right now it is not looking good. So NYDIG and GREENIDGE will endeavor to enter into a definitive documentation reflecting the terms described in this release, but there can be no assurances made that such terms will not change materially, nor can there be any assurances made that the transactions discussed in this release will be consummated. So we'll have to see if that gets done. So that's also a risk. Next, there can be no assurance made by GREENIDGE will be successful in facilitating for the securing of rights to a mining site within the 3 months of completion of a debt restructuring agreement. So part of that agreement is listed down below is NYDIG would take over a large portion of their mining assets, and then they would host them with GREENIDGE here. So that's definitely a concern. Plus, I don't know if they have the cash to do it right now. So how are they going to get more mining sites to do it if they can't pay their bills right now? So that's a question there. Next, there are certain third-party consents and other conditions to closing that are required in order for GREENIDGE to enter into a definitive documentation, and there can be no assurance that such third-party consents can be obtained or conditions satisfied. So you got a lot of things going against them here that third parties also have to consent to this as well. Okay. Then you got explanation here from Chief Executive Officer David Anderson. We're not going to get into it. Let's see here. And then you got NYDIG commenting as well, kind of patting each other's back there a little bit. Next here is on December 19th, 2022, GREENIDGE entered into a non-binding term sheet with NYDIG to potentially restructure its approximately $74 million of debt remaining with NYDIG under the Master Equipment Financing Agreement dated as of May 25th, 2021 and March 21st, 2022. So just this year. Under the term sheet, it is contemplated that GREENIDGE would reduce its debt by approximately 57 to 68 million in exchange for a substantial number of its miners, transfer credits, and coupons that have accrued to GREENIDGE under its non-fixed price purchasing contracts with Bitmain Technologies Ltd. And transfer GREENIDGE's acquired mining infrastructure awaiting deployment at potential mining sites within 3 months following the completion of debt restructuring and hosting agreements, the post-closing covenant. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. So 74 million in debt, approximately 57 to 68 million of that would be exchanged for miners. And they have 3 months to deployment of potential mining sites within 3 months. So they got 3 months to do that as well. And that might be a little tough to do that. Pursuant to the term sheet, GREENIDGE would provide additional collateral on its remaining mining-related assets, the infrastructure assets, equity of its subsidiaries, and certain cash balances to secure the remaining debt balances with NYDIG, which may have a balance of between 6 to 17 million based on satisfactory transfer of assets to NYDIG and completion of the post-closing covenant. So they would still have about 6 to 17 million outstanding, it looks like. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I'm not sure I follow it completely. Maybe you guys can explain it to me if you guys have a little bit more information on this or more privy to what's going on here. But I'm just having a hard time following. They had 74 million here. They're getting rid of 57 to 68. Even if it was 57, that would only be, well, that would be like 17 million, wouldn't it? 17 million of that. 68, that would be 6 million. Okay, so that's kind of what they're referring to there. All right, looking at it a third time, I can finally figure it out. Going down here, as a result of GREENIDGE entering into this hosting agreement, a near-term increase in Bitcoin prices, even a significant one, may not have a corresponding beneficial impact on GREENIDGE's business liquidity or prospects. So they're even saying here, given that Bitcoin goes up significantly, that might not be enough to keep them afloat, unfortunately. Liquidity update. So the company's cash and cash equivalents and restricted cash as of November 30th, 2022 amounted to approximately 22 million compared to 38.5 million as of September. So we are now, 2 months into it, and they burned, what did they burn there? Almost 14 million, it looks like. 16 million, sorry. They burned 16.5 million roughly. This represents an average monthly cash burn of approximately 8 million during the October and November period, of which approximately 5.5 million per month was associated with principal and interest payments to NYDIG. So that is absolutely a lot. Further, the company expects to use a similar amount of cash during the month of December. Dependent on timing of payments, it is very difficult to estimate liquidity requirements and future cash burn rates. However, the company's current cash burn rates are not sustainable. No, they're not. Given that they only have 22 million, if they're going through approximately 8 million a month, I mean, you're looking at 2.5 months roughly before they go under. In absence of additional liquidity, the company is at risk of having insufficient cash to support ongoing business operations within the next 2 months. Let's see here. The company currently estimates it will require at least approximately 20 million of additional liquidity to fund its cash requirements. Although this estimate is subject to a number of assumptions, it may vary materially. So they're saying even if they do this, they're still going to need cash, which it's going to be hard for them to get cash as well. The company stated in its quarterly report on Form 10Q for the 9 months ended September 30th, 2022, that there is uncertainty regarding the company's financial condition and substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern. There is substantial likelihood that the company's independent auditor's opinion for the 2022 financial statement will reflect a going concern qualification. Yeah, I would hope so. So we got that going on. And then down here, additional risk factors that go into it. Because there is substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern and to manage its liabilities in light of its current operating environment, and investment in the company's common stock is highly speculative. Holders of the company's common stock are highly likely to suffer a total loss of their investment if the company is unable to restructure its debt and files or is forced to file for bankruptcy. And even if the agreement with NYDIG is finalized and bankruptcy is avoided, the company's prospects for operating a viable hosting business are uncertain. So it's pretty bad for them. We're not wondering if there's anything else. There was nothing else here. Let's take a look at the numbers that we have for them right now and what that would possibly mean for them. So if we take a look at GREENIDGE, here's GREENIDGE right now. Looking at they haven't provided their numbers for November yet, but now we know why. They're in trouble. Same as Cores. But looking at their financials here, we can see that debt to equity was going up 2.4 in Q3, was 2.1. So it was growing here in the last 2 quarters. Current ratio also was going down here. So that's not good. You never want to have debt to equity going up and current ratio going down. That's not a good sign. Revenue was 29 million in third quarter. So they averaged about 10 million roughly. Current assets was also only 54 million, and they had total current liabilities of 98 million. And that's also a concern there. Now, total assets was 307 million. Total liabilities was 217 million. So you do have assets that could sell off, and it looks like they're going to be possibly giving some of the assets to NYDIG in this restructuring. So if we look at the number of miners that they have right now, you can see here that they have approximately, what do we have, 2.5 exahash installed right now. Yeah, 2.5 exahash right now. That is 27,125 miners roughly installed. They still have about 13,000 miners that were supposed to come in online. I'm guessing, I could be wrong on this, but I'm guessing it's probably going to be these miners here in the green box that are highlighted that are the ones in question that were under this structuring. So I'm not sure how many of those are going to be given back. But if we're looking at, they're at 2.5 exahash right now, and if we look, $15 per terahash. I'll just say it's $15, but seeing that they're distressed, it might be going for 10, but we'll give them $15 per terahash. Let's say, how can we figure this out here? How many miners would that take to give back? What is it, the 50 some million that they said? What did they say here? There's just too many numbers. 8.5, let me see here. Approximately 74 million in debt contemplating. That would give them, they reported it here someplace. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Under the term sheet, we'll reduce approximately 57 to 68 million. Okay. So they're looking to get about 57 million for their miners. Let's just do a quick sheet on here. So let's do, let's see, equals this divided by 1,000, right? And then we're multiplying that times 15. Times 15, let's see what we get. So that's, that wouldn't be right. Be divided by 10,000. Oh, I got 100. 1,000. There we go. $1,500 per miner times the number of miners equals this times number of miners, and we get our numbers here. So that's approximately 7 million for that. Okay. So we get 7 million. What are we up to now? 13 million here. 13 million. 16 million. 17. 18. 21 million. 23 million. Jesus, it's going to be everything then. 23 million. 43 million. And then if we go down to these, well, there's 52 million right there. So pretty much everything that they have, based on my numbers, would be going away if that's the case, if they're getting paid $15 per terahash. Wow. That's rough. They would only have the older miners here potentially. But I don't know if that's the way it's going to work out. This is just my numbers here on it. It could be different. I'm not sure which miners would be affected by this. So this is just an estimate, a best guess on it, but by the looks of it, it looks like it would be all, pretty much all of it, right? They said 50, well, they gave him 57 million for it. So maybe they're giving him $16 per terahash or something like that. Yeah, so that would basically take away all of their miners and give them to NYDIG, and NYDIG would be hosting with them. And then they would do a revenue split afterward. They would pay all the fees, electrical, and operations. And then after that, if there were any revenues left over, they would do a split on it, I guess. Don't know what the split is going to be. But wow, man, all those miners going away. Okay, that's tough. That is rough. Let's see, what else can we look at here? I think that's it. So if my numbers are correct, that is really, really bad for them. They will become basically a hosting company for NYDIG at that point, if that's the case. Let me know if you guys have any other news on it. But yeah, wow. Okay. I was kind of shocked by the numbers here. I didn't think they were going to be that bad. Okay. It is what it is. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people possibly running out of the stock right now. We saw a little bit today with it being down 17%. We may see a little bit more coming in this week as well. That's not good. Okay. Well, hopefully they can survive somehow. I don't know how they're going to survive. but hopefully they can pull something off. Okay, so let's take a look at some good news here, since that was quite depressing there. Sphere 3D Corp increases production capacity by approximately 267%. So more than 2,665 new miners started hashing at the Wolf Hollow site. It's great news. We've been waiting for this. I'm sure investors have been waiting for this for a long time too. They started out mining this year at 100 petahash, and they were stuck at that 100 petahash for pretty much 11 months until this month, where they're finally getting some miners installed here. So production capacity jumps to about 365 petahash per second, which is a pretty good increase for them. And this is a quote from Patricia Trumpeter, CEO of Sphere 3D. The increase in production capacity is great news for the company and our shareholders. We continue to push for energizing the balance of the 4026 order as quickly as possible. I am also looking forward to receiving the almost 12,000 miners that are currently in transit to the U.S. due to arrive before the end of the year. Sphere 3D's production capacity is set to grow dramatically in the near term, which is anticipated to favorably impact the company's ongoing financial performance, which is true. They really do need this quite a bit. So 12,000 would be approximately 1.2 exahash additional, plus whatever they got here about the 4. So we're looking at approximately, 1.6 exahash potentially to be at. So let's take a look at Sphere really quick. So I added in some of these miners that they provided us with 365 petahash. That included the 100 terahash miners here, 2,650 roughly, and they are mining for about 10 days now, I'm guessing. So that's going to give them a revenue of about 300,000 roughly if the other ones mine for 20 days, depending on how much curtailment they do. And that would be a nice increase for them from the 180,000 that they were at. So once they get the other miners installed as well, it is going to be a nice little increase here for them going forward into the new year, which would be kind of nice for them to start a new year on a high note a little bit. Okay, other than that, that is it, I believe. So nice update by Sphere. They still have quite a ways to go. They are currently at, let's take a look at the numbers, 365. They're supposed to get to 2.1. So they're 17% operational. Future hash rate growth of about 475% for them in the coming year. Possibly they might be at this by the end of the first quarter. And we'll see. So that's also going to help them with their BTC production, and we'll see how that affects their BTC per exahash as well. Okay, that is all I got for you guys. Try to make this quick. The GREENIDGE story was long. There was a lot to cover in there. So that took up a lot of the time. And I mean, that's unfortunate. We're seeing this with a couple of the miners now. Core is one that's having issues. There are others as well. So it's a tough time for the miners. We've been through this before. Like I keep saying, we've been through this with Hive and Hut 8. They've been through this kind of type of market back in 2018, 2019. They were able to survive. I'm hoping that some of these guys are also able to survive. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, the stock prices are possibly going to continue to go down on these. We don't know when Bitcoin's going to end up at the bottom. And until that happens, these miners are also going to go down in the interim as well. So last time Hive was down to 8 cents. I can't remember what Hut was at, but there's always a possibility of some of these guys going down to sub $1 per share, potentially, which is great news for people that are investing for the long run, because you can dollar cost average in at a much lower cost. So not financial advice, as always. You guys got to do your own research. This is just what I'm doing here and providing you guys with a lot of data. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So that's it. As always, Spreadsheet is available to my Patreon members. Thank you to everyone there. Thank you for everyone here watching. Love you all. I hope you guys have a great night. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.